Hello, this is Captain Poodle speaking. Are you ready to find love?
Yes, ahoy, matey.
Love. Exciting and new. Go online. They're catfishing you.
Shocker.
Fiancé. Soon you'll be flying to parts unknown. 90-day Beyonce.
Marrying someone you only met on your phone.
Be they French or Chinese, a brand new K1 visa's the key.
Ooh, the key to what, Poodle?
To love.
It's reality, yes, let's love. Hello, everyone. It's Poodle's Takeover. Maddie's not here, so it's like, what is that where people would go, so and like it's a takeover or something? I don't know. Actually, Maddie's, most of you know, Maddie has, it's Reality Gaze, and this is Poodle, and Maddie is the newest contestant on the reboot of The Swan, so he's getting cut up today. No, we're all praying for him, and if you pray.
Should we start with a Father Ouija's prayer?
Thank you, Michelle. Yo, with me, that's a great idea. With me is Robin and Michelle from Blind Day Fiancé. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
it's an
thank
honor
you. The
and a
Sissy
privilege.
Squad think that this is the week you've finally gone on Big Brother.
They do. They thought this is when they think me going to Colombia is code for me going on Big Brother.
Yeah.
And I honestly, one of the reasons I did not apply is the idea of being in a house with 11 other idiots or 15 other idiots makes my skin crawl so much. But you guys, Robin and Michelle, they have a podcast called Bloody Day Fiance. We've done crossovers with them before, and I do want to start with a Father. I want to thank you for this day. I know that keep everyone safe, and I want you, Father, about Misha. I won't remember that when we're visiting, help her to understand that it's okay not to tell your parents. It ain't a sin. There's nothing in the Bible about telling your parents. And help keep her makeup clear and fresh while she's in Nazareth. Father, in your name we pray, amen. And maybe help Ukraine. So yeah, you guys are here. We're talking B90, before the 90 days, season 6, episode 5. The title is Suspect. And I think
which 80s rom-com is that? Because I'm not familiar.
Are all of them 80s rom-coms this time?
Yeah.
There was Splash.
Splash, Overboard, and I don't know what Overboard is. That like a Steven Seagal movie or something?
Y'all, if you're not listening, Michelle just had the look of disgust on her face. Like he had just said, like Robin had just said something so foul. No, you know what it is? Overboard is a movie with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell where it's basically, remember that Lindsay Lohan movie where she falls off a hill and she wakes up, this Christmas movie that we did, and she wakes up, she doesn't know where she is. Goldie Hawn is an awful person who falls off a boat, and then Kurt Russell basically takes advantage of her the whole movie. So yeah. That was the 80s.
Romantic then.
Yes, very romantic.
Very romantic.
And convinces her she's a wife, his wife, and makes her cook and clean for him. It was a different time.
But they've been together for like 40 years now, haven't they?
They still
40,
together?
50 years? Yeah.
I think
Going
in
strong.
real life
Never
they
married.
are.
Yeah.
In real life. God, living in sin.
Well, her daughter
Living in sin.
Her daughter does all the failed relationships, I guess.
Robin.
Oh my.
What?
So Maddie would not sanction Kate
Matt
Hudson.
Bellamy would not sanction this
trash
conversation.
Talk.
I'll get in trouble with
He
him.
does love Kate Hudson vodka.
Yes.
Yes. And
Good.
I think that's good to know. I don't know what Suspect is. I don't think Suspect is a romantic comedy. It
Was that the
does
first
sound
one?
like an Eddie Murphy vehicle.
Yeah, you see, I'm
Um,
wondering, are they rom-coms or are they just 80s?
No, because we went Moonstruck, right? A
Moonstruck was the first one.
classic.
Yeah.
mhm.
Then Say Anything. Again, John Cusack holding up the boombox for those of you
Yes.
who know what that is.
Mhm.
Then we had
Splash,
no, Splash was after Overboard.
not Splash.
I'm
It
forgetting that.
it's Cher and Dennis Quaid. I have never seen this movie. How have I never seen this movie?
Which movie?
Suspect.
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 Okay, I know what we're watching.
All right.
It also included John Mahoney, Joe Mantegna. It basically is about around Christmas, a young woman, Elizabeth Quinn, definitely not a good name for Cher in the movie, waits outside private quarters of Supreme Court Justice. This is already hard to do. It looks like it's a thriller.
Okay.
Who cares? Um, that's all I've got to say.
That's fine.
Riveting. So this was, they call them on Drag Race. This episode to me was very much a filler queen. I feel like this is to establish us in a different direction. We got all 7 couples this time. There's one more to go. We have
Yeah.
a woman who is meeting another woman from London, I believe. Another
Is she from London? She looks very
Yeah.
Brighton to me at first glance.
Same thing. In the same way that we've got airports that call themselves London Airport that are in cities, and there are 6 cities between those cities and London, and they still call themselves London Airport. Right?
We're gonna get in trouble again for last time. Last time
What?
we did this, we got roasted in the sissy squad for being snobs about
That isn't snobby.
southeastern
I am being.
regions.
Oh,
Well, you
who
said Brighton and
cares?
London are the same thing.
Brighton is
but they're
lovely
not.
at this time of year. Do you think that we've got like 2 couples here that are leftovers from 90 Day UK, and they've just put them in this?
I kind of agree with you.
It's really weird.
I don't know I feel like B90 is always a good season, in my opinion, because you get the best nutters and who it's not going to work out with. I think my theory this time around is I think Sheila and David are the only ones. However,
Yeah.
I think Jasmine and Gino are a foregone conclusion that they're going to be on whatever franchise, and I don't care. I will watch it.
Same.
Yeah. But I think of all the others, I think Misha's going home in like 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of filler queen.
I see what you did there. That joke had 3 levels. You know what though? We call her now Megan Fox News. Someone coined that, not me.
Genius.
But they're calling her Megan Fox News because she looks like an older Megan Fox, and she's on
That is
Fox News.
inspired. Wow.
She has the same surgery though of every Fox News anchor. It's all, and it's not like she's an unattractive person.
No.
I do enjoy the way she speaks very directly, like she's on camera communicating a segment about lemurs.
It's amazing.
So everything
she speaks the same as Jen that we had on Toe.
Yes,
They got the same because Jen worked as like an elocution specialist,
Speech
right?
pathologist.
Okay,
yeah.
right. Yeah. And
elocution's such a fancy name. What is this? Henry fucking Higgins?
Received pronunciation.
Yes, elocution.
You should see how Robin actually talks like this.
Yeah, I'll
like Maggie Smith.
I'm just slumming it down for you, scumbags. In it.
You slag.
In it. I love who was it? Remember the guy on White Lotus, the kind of really rough blonde guy this season who was like fucking the gay guys? And he said like in it. And I was like, in me. He was like talking dirty chav talk, and I was like,
Ugh.
yes, more.
Yeah. Even I found him quite attractive.
I
Yeah,
know.
he's very
Yeah.
attractive. It's so charming.
I think you're
He's one of
supposed to
those.
feel bad for her, but I'm like, you got to fuck him for a few days. That's
I
fine. That's
know.
enough at that point.
He. I felt like he was kind of the hero of the season because he was
He
doing
did
what
the
he
right
needed to
thing.
get by.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Gotta
I
respect the
kind of agree
hustle.
with you. Spoiler alert: doesn't go really well with him and dumpy hipster girl who I liked. Who looks who did I call her? Who she looked just like someone from last season or Below Deck. Haley Lou Richardson. I'm trying to think who
Oh,
it was. It was
I
all
think
I saw.
I think I might know who you mean, but
Was
I'll
it
get it wrong.
Elisha maybe?
oh,
Oh.
from Below Deck
Below Deck
Sailing.
Sailing
Yeah,
Yacht. She reminded me of Haley Lou Richardson.
Oh, but she's anything but dumpy.
Oh
she's very
no,
cute.
she's
Yeah.
wonderful. But Haley Lou Richardson was kind of dumpy in that what she wore and
Yeah.
Schlubby.
yeah,
Yeah.
she was a little schlubby.
Yeah.
My mother would say she just doesn't take care of herself. God. My mother is the one. If you're looking behind me, my mother is the one that helped me put this backdrop up for the window because it was very bright, and she was horrified. Everyone's going to think my sheets are wrinkled. So, and this fern back here is something my mother's like, just add a little spice to your thing. And I'm
It
thinking
does.
because
I like it. It works.
I'd
you
like
know
you to
so much about camera work.
I'd like you to draw a face on it and have it like be a Tina Turner tribute.
Oh, rest
That
in power,
Is that wrong?
Queen.
that feels
Does that
vaguely
feel wrong?
racist.
It just reminds me she has this big that specifically Tina
Vaguely
Turner.
racist. Can we just jump in? I want to just ask you guys, what do you think so far about this season of B90?
You mean as well as you put it, before the 90 days as directed by Lars von Trier,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
now by Francois Truffaut.
It is. It's extremely the whole Ros von Amanda storyline is
Oh.
extremely bleak. Like even Truffaut had more joy.
Well, I think it's just those moments where, particularly in that. So I will post this in the squad and in our group, Blighty Day Bays. But I sent Jake a screen grab uh, of Amanda looking
Amanda,
particularly
Yeah.
sort of 60s-ish
French
and
New
behind.
Wave.
Yes,
Yes, it was
French.
very French New Wave, and
Yes.
it's dead on. Also,
Nouvelle Vague.
Nouvelle
Yes.
Vague.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, David and Sheila are definitely breaking the waves. Full on. We're full on. We're full on Von Trier there, and if they don't make it, I'm going to be very very upset.
Yeah, no,
He
I agree with
he.
that. Amanda and Razvan, to me, it's like you remember all those the pictures of Sad Keanu, right?
Yes.
And more recently, we've had like Sad Jeremy Strong from Succession, Sad Kendall. It's like if the two of them were in a relationship, just the two of them in that car together. You could freeze frame any shot, and it was just both of them pulling the saddest faces known to man.
I agree, and I think that I think her overwhelming malaise actually affects him because I
Oh,
think he's a
definitely.
positive person,
Yep.
but she is such a kind of I think, and also we've talked about this before. She's in a total grief cloud.
Mhm.
In fact, let's talk about them first. Why
Yeah,
not
do you
get
wanna do them?
into the utter mess of it all?
Well, first, I want to criticize last week the pancakes, right? And again,
You had a problem with that.
I haven't caught up with your pod from last week, so if you did the pancake thing, I apologize. But I want it on the record at this stage. It is not okay. No way are those the best pancakes in the nation. He's cooking pancakes with no fat. What kind of
I
weirdo cooks pancakes in a dry pan?
I
That
think someone who is less worried about pancakes and more about the chocolate sauce
yeah,
on his
Yeah.
ridiculously sculpted chest.
Are you aware, Robin, that the pancakes are not for
no,
consumption?
I
Like,
was really
do you get
bothered.
why he's making them?
Well, she said they weren't cooked, but they
Has that
looked
escaped?
pretty dry
Yeah,
and rubbery to me. And
that is the issue. He is the pancake king.
all right.
That's how he sells it, but it's mostly about people watching it. It's like you don't watch those kind of Korean food porn things where the women are eating the food because of the food. You watch it to watch them shoving the food in their mouths. I always forget the name of that.
So you say
Someone's screaming.
he's like what's the name from Paradise? Do you think he sits on the pancakes?
Possibly.
He might, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's
Is it
less.
Spooshing?
Ooh, sploosh. I think it's more about the process and actual rubbing the chocolate sauce all over
Mm,
his chest. I gotta say, I'm not turned on by putting food products on
Mm-mm.
my
no,
body.
Me
no,
It
neither.
doesn't
no,
do anything to
no.
me. But when I see him do it, I don't want to eat it off. But there is something there. I'll give him something. He's on to something. That boy's got something. He's got something special.
He's growing on me because
Oh,
I
he's grown on me too.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that he's in any way the villain of this piece.
No,
I don't think she is either.
I am loath to paint her as the villain because it's all underwritten by trauma. And
Yeah.
much though I want to go, ah, and really kind of, lay into her and stuff, I find it impossible to do that.
She's I think it's easier to call her, for a lot of people, it's easier to go, she's a bad mother, than to try to understand why she's doing what
Oh,
she's
of
doing.
course. Yeah.
And I find it's easier to focus on the fact that you left your children with the babysitter of daddy's ashes. To me, that's easier to focus on and just completely abject. So I I found that the inclusion of Daddy's box on the way to the airport was perhaps the darkest thing I've ever seen on this show.
It was. David
And
Lynch wouldn't have put that in a
oh
movie
no,
because it
No.
would have been too bleak.
David Lynch would have gone, "Oh no, this is way too weird."
You can imagine just Dennis Hopper sucking on Daddy's box. Never thought I'd say that.
Michelle's face.
Never thought I'd say that.
Just like sniffing underwear, going right fully into it.
I do have a dark origin story theory about Amanda, though, which I would love to get your opinion on.
Sure,
Jake,
hit me with
because
it.
I haven't talked about this with anyone. I am
Including me.
including
Ooh.
you. I am reasonably confident that Amanda's late husband was her youth pastor or her English teacher or her PE teacher, just
Yeah.
somebody in a
Because he
position of
was
authority.
significantly older than her. And
Oh, or maybe a shift manager at a diner that she worked at. Or something like that, something kind of like some type of father figure for her.
Yes,
Yeah.
because the way that she relates to Razvan and the expectations that she has, she is behaving like a child who wants to be corrected,
Mhm.
right? She's going like
or comforted,
yes,
but parented.
exactly. She's begging to be parented. She is so lost. It's heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah.
And I think she's confused because, and the reason why she's so hell bent on getting not only the love of her life but also a father figure for her children, it's really about somebody who is going to steer her in a direction.
Yeah, that
And
totally tracks.
yeah.
So was that it? So when she saw him at the airport, she was like, "You don't look like you could be my dad."
No, it's not that simple. I think the airport and all of that was just a shock response. And I think the thing about the tissues by the bed, which I think is normal, by the way,
I
I don't.
think very normal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
And I'm a gay guy who has a lot of sex. So
I don't know why he didn't just say to her, "Yeah, it's for fucking." Like,
well,
she
No,
trying
but
to shame him. Is that whole, you don't think you're going to guarantee it? It's like, come on, we've been
what
dating like online for ages. We say we love each other. I mean,
what she's doing
is it
though,
unreasonable to think we might
what
have sex?
well, to follow up Michelle's point, what she's doing is trying to get him to engage with her in a way that her ex-husband would. Like
yes,
Yeah.
she's trying to
exactly.
rib
Hmm.
him,
Yeah.
and he's going to go, "No, I'm going to lay down the law here." But
Hmm.
Rosman refuses to do that because he's trying to have somewhat of a normal dynamic
Yes, and
of
everything.
equality, and she's just not having it.
Absolutely. He's looking for parity. And actually, if you go back and look at the things that he's said, even about going to the US and meeting her
Yeah.
children, they've all been totally reasonable. If you are in a relationship, if you're dating someone who has children, your
Hmm.
position should be that you are going to be a friend to that child
Right.
rather than a parent, unless, until and unless it gets to the point where it's serious, and then you figure out what that role is going to be,
Yeah,
you know?
if it's serious enough for her to have gone out there to meet him to see if he can be a prospective stepfather to her children, then
Yeah.
it's serious enough for him to go over and see if he can be a prospective
Absolutely.
stepfather
And
to her children.
oh,
I don't.
that moment where she's like, "No, it's just too early." And I'm like, "You can't have him over there because right now this is your fantasy
Yeah,
of going to Romania to meet your swarthy like Eastern European fiance, your dream." And then as soon as he's back in Eunice butt fuck uh, uh Louisiana, he goes to the Waffle House to see your friends, and it's all going to be ruined for you. So she's completely aware, or has his first cup of 8 o'clock coffee and says, "What is this garbage?" Um, actually, I love 8 o'clock coffee. Don't come for me. It's a brand from Louisiana. So someone will come for me.
So Michelle's kind of big theory on this is that because she had a layover in Paris en route, and you think she should have just had a layover in Paris and not continued the journey, right?
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
She
bang a
would have had a
French dude,
story to tell. She would
bang a
have had a
French
story to
dude.
tell. I'm
Bang
telling you,
3
she would have
Frenchmen.
she would have had plenty. The way she looks, she could have banged them all at the airport.
Yeah,
She could just gotten on the plane after that,
right.
gotten some duty free cologne, a Toblerone, and hit the
But hit the Clinique counter. You're
yeah.
set.
Yeah, it's
It's
some
sad.
duty free cologne, a Toblerone, and head back to the States.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
Anyway,
Oh boy.
so even this is the interesting thing here. Um, he's basically talking about, he's like, so, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just need to take a quick business call." And
Uh-huh.
she's like, "I was upset that you took a business call and you were saying things in front of me." And I'm like, "What are you supposed to do?"
Yeah.
I it This is a very American thing that they get
Yeah.
upset when people are speaking in their language in front of them.
Hmm.
And it is a very American. Well, how am I going to know what you're saying?
Well, I think it's because he said her name,
Yes,
so she was like, "You're talking about me." But if he hadn't talked about her, she'd have been, "Why were you talking about me? What's why?
exactly.
Why am I nothing to do? Why didn't you tell him I'm going?" It's like you cannot win. You just cannot
Later
win.
later on, he even says, I feel like you're kind of mean to me." Like
Yeah.
Right?
for the first
Yes.
time, I was like, "Thank you for
Bold.
saying that because you've been nagging him since you got there."
But it's not even negging because it's not like she's doing it to make him love her more.
No.
She's just being an arsehole
No, that's not true. She still
because
has an
she's in
object in
trauma.
mind. She's trying, yes,
Yeah.
she's trying to, like Jake said, get him to engage with her the way her
Yeah.
late husband would have, and to
Ugh.
goad him into an argument because she wants to and I'm definitely not saying this as someone who behaved like this in the early stages of our relationship, but she wants him to prove that he's not going to leave. And so she shows her worst attributes early on, which I might have done.
I mean, you did hold a few back.
Ooh, this is intense. I love it.
She's going to be like, right, we're going to talk this through until the end of the conversation.
But I think you're right, and I think this is going to get worse and worse. He's going to continue to be unhappy. She's going to threaten to leave more, and she's completely focused on him, not on figuring out if he's going to be a good stepfather. And so what she doesn't understand is she's thinking that's all on her to make that decision.
Right.
And
Right?
yeah,
But
and
what
so
she's forgetting to do is be a good girlfriend in any way
right.
whatsoever. There is that entitlement, which very
Please, white cisgender heterosexual male, talk to us.
But that's exactly what I
Talk
was
to
going
us
to say.
about
about
entitlement.
No. But that's exactly what I was gonna say as cisgender white heterosexual male. That's the thing. But there is that entitlement. Because she's extremely pretty, she's young, she's used to these things, and
And
I
she's
don't know.
American, and
But
this show makes Americans
which I
feel
was
that
also
way.
going to say, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
let's
Yeah.
call it
You
exceptionalism,
get
maybe
the
instead of entitlement.
Sure, of course, but but she really has never had to try. And also the fact is, and there was a reason for me saying it, I wasn't just being a pig, but she's never had to try because
Right.
she's never been single. Because she got together
No.
with her husband when she was crazy young. He was like her only relationship, I believe.
Yeah,
Right?
the only
Yeah. So
yeah.
Well,
so
except for Billy Bob in the back of a Dodge Dart.
See, I don't even think there was time for that. I think there's this incredible, and I'm doing this I'm interjecting in honor of Maddie here. There is
Thank
an
you.
incredible made-for-TV movie that stars Gary Cole and
Ooh, I love Gary Cole.
I do too. And Nicole Eggert. And please,
Oof.
trigger warnings aplenty because it was filmed in the early. It's not Travis who were in it, but it was another band. Maybe it was Travis.
Ash.
Yes, Ash. Yeah. So anyway, sorry. It's a made for TV movie about Gary Cole plays a teacher who preys on his student and grooms her and basically like stops her from having a social life and has a full-blown affair with her. And it's very triggering, but I'm obsessed with it because I get a lot out of watching those old like 80s Lifetime movies where it's happy at the end because the man goes to jail instead of
those happy child abuse films.
No, but
it was a genre.
It's a reckoning, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
justice being served rather than
And it's like every SVU episode. I will watch every single one I've seen. I've seen every one like 10 times, but it doesn't matter because
Right.
at the end I get to see Mariska Hargitay put away the bad guy.
Yes,
And
exactly.
she, in her face that launched 1,000 lesbian ships, and mine. I'm a huge Mariska fan. Mariska
Me
forever. Anyway, that's all there was only a little bit about them, but this is going to end in tears. This is DOA. There's no way either of these two can bring this together.
You say that, but we have seen before, like people. I sometimes think if the more miserable they are, the more likely they are to stay together. Sometimes, just because they don't fit at all, that doesn't mean. I mean,
Boy, that's
would
dark.
Yeah, it is, but it is dark. It's true.
Why are you
true.
pointing at me when you say that? That's
because,
very
like you said, it's Truffaut does 90 Day. It's
the more
would be the
miserable
bleakest
I
thing
am,
right?
the more I stay with you.
But the next season they're on, it turns into a pinter play, right? They just sit
Yes,
staring at each other
and just
across the
stare at
table.
one another.
That's
Yeah,
all their segments are for
with
a whole
pauses.
season. Can you imagine the tell-all? They just
I love that.
No, the tell-all's going to be awful. Like this season's tell-all, I cannot even imagine. Speaking of a situation that's awful, I'm gonna this tirade story makes me feel like I wanna go into the closet in the dark and hide forever. It makes me question man's humanity to man.
Tyre's story makes me understand why I need a weighted blanket.
Y'all, y'all,
Oh.
this person is so deluded. I just want to go up and give him a hug. I'm glad his sister is there with him. I still don't think the family is supportive enough to him. I think this is so fucking bleak.
He has, again, forgive me, non-theater sissies and non-theater bays. He has fully Blanche Dubois. Like he has lost touch with reality.
Yeah.
He is rewriting history.
Mhm.
He doesn't even have a notional sense
Yeah.
of what this situation is. The lengths that he
Oh,
has gone to.
she's a prostitute. Okay,
She's a
okay. I
prostitute.
can make that
Okay.
work. Okay,
So
okay.
the guy's her
And she's
Don't
a
turn
guy.
family.
on that
Okay,
light.
okay.
I
I can
look.
make
I
that work.
can pass for. I can pass for 38 in this light. I promise you, Carmela is a real person. I am certain. Maybe she is just. Maybe she has a pimp, and he does not want her to answer the phone.
So, Jake, tell me how was Williams funny? And this is not
Williams was
funny.
funny because of Yolanda, and Yolanda was naturally funny because Yolanda was ridiculously dumb.
Yeah.
To the point where
And also
Yolanda,
kind of affluent, and she'd be
yes,
fine.
and
And
you felt
she looked like
safe.
she had a life. And but this,
Here's I always say here's when we can laugh. Like we can laugh at Misha because Misha, we feel safe because we know Misha's going to be okay cuz she's
yeah,
a nutter.
yeah,
And she's always going to live in her crazy Christ world.
yeah.
We're okay laughing if we feel like the people are going to be safe. um and also we get a little worried if if there are children involved. We feel unsafe sometimes. But this, we're not sure he's going to be okay because he, like you said, he has lost. Tyree has lost all connection to what is real.
He doesn't know
And
anything about it. He was
yeah.
stood in front of those tubs of candy. He didn't even know what he wanted. Did you see
Oh,
how
that
long
was
that shot
sad.
lasted? He was just couldn't make up his mind. He's lost.
This is a
His
Todd Solondz
sisters.
film. This is like one of the darker
Oh my
Todd
god, it
Solondz films.
really
This is
is. This
happiness.
is
This is
all over.
happiness.
It is. We
Oh
were
shit! It's not. It's not.
so
Wow.
Alfie, not his real
Not his
name,
real name.
was in the room with us when we were watching this exact segment, and he goes,
Yeah, he wanted us to
he
explain it, and
wanted
I'm
to
like,
explain. We were like,
all
oh,
right,
it's too
so there's this guy,
complicated.
and he wants to fuck this girl, but this
No,
girl's
no, he
actually a
wouldn't
guy,
say
and then
that.
it turns out it's a prostitute. It's like, how am I supposed to explain this storyline to my 11-year-old? It cannot be done.
We said somebody was in an online relationship with
Yeah.
this person, and they pretended to be someone who they weren't, and used fake pictures. And he goes, just with like the innocence of a child in his big blue eyes, he goes, why would someone do that?
Oh,
Yes,
Why would
that
someone
is what
do
we
that?
do, and that existential pain haunts us for every minute as we watch these
I mean,
segments.
there's one answer, money.
Money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he also theorizes that Carmela, when he's with his sister, that he's tried to get messages to Carmela, and he's still referring to the guy Christian
Hmm.
as her, and he says, but maybe she's in prison. Maybe the pimp doesn't want her to talk to me, and the
I think
sister's
he's
like,
the husband in that
Yeah.
particular scenario.
But the strange thing is, it's like I felt like, well, this is Catfish, not 90 Day. I don't quite know why this is on the show, and I've been thinking that all along. Like, why is this on the show? But now he wants to be on Lalu. It's like he's just going through all the different shows, and I'm thinking,
I
which one's going to be next? It's like, oh, she's in a pod somewhere, and I haven't seen her. It's like,
I totally agree, and I think this is a consequence of watching a lot of reality shows
ah,
where and watching shows where this happens, and he's going, but it couldn't be because this couldn't be happening to me because my life is just normal. But this woman, uh, because Tyree had so very little light in his life, and
Yeah.
this woman, this man who was pretending to be a woman, gave him light. And so when you take that away, everything goes upside down. So it makes sense. I just want to say one thing.
mm,
He also says the sister found out, as she says, some bad stuff about Carmela online. And so it shakes her so much she drops her big gulp, which was very upsetting to me.
yeah, she
Um,
literally spills the tea.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's not
And
tea, but yeah.
the escort page, we find out this person is California based, and it gets worse. And I said, Bakersfield, Stockton. And I went, well, no wonder she's soliciting because no one wants to be in Bakersfield or Stockton.
Well, I was thinking it
Sorry,
was the lyric.
Christina.
I was thinking it was the lyrics to Route 66.
Bakersfield and Stockton, Tempe too. Dun,
Yeah,
dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
dun. You can get there. Just tell them I'm your boo. I'm also a sex worker.
That for me, that was the biggest jaw drop, or the biggest mental leap, even bigger than her having gone to prison and her husband was the one answering the phone, was that
Love
she
that.
is was that Carmela is the escort in those
Yeah,
pictures,
absolutely
Yes.
ridiculous.
and that she
Ridiculous.
has been
But how can she's in the
in
Bahamas?
Stockton. Or
How can she also be in Stockton? Because
no, that wasn't the argument. The argument was, "Oh,
she
she's
was
been so
there all
near to
along.
me
Yeah,
this
yeah. Yeah.
whole time."
Yes.
It's like this
Yes.
person doesn't
But
exist.
she's not, because she's probably in fucking Toronto because it's an influencer or something, and the prostitute's using the picture, the catfish is using the picture. God knows how many other people are
Yeah,
using
who
these pictures.
knows
I
how
mean,
many people are
eventually,
using
you know,
those
if they didn't
photos.
keep pixelating it, the woman might actually come forward.
Did you notice that when he said he's calling her but blocking her number so his number so she won't notice? I'm like, so you know how to block someone's number,
Right.
but you don't understand how catfishing works.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
And you've watched every episode of Catfish ever,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know how catfishing works.
Right.
Well, I was just surprised. I haven't thought, I mean, obviously, I haven't lived in the US for 14, 15 years now. Um, but I haven't dialed star 67 since I was in middle school making prank calls.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
was not aware that you could do that on a cell phone.
I think you
So
can.
if you
I
can,
think you still can. But you can certainly do it
Oh,
on your phone.
oh, you can, especially if you're trying to prank, let's say, or just mess around with maybe a ailing elderly husband's daughter, a smart mouth daughter, just to get back at her
oh
if you need
no.
to.
Oh dear.
Yeah, if you need to just mess with her because she's a lawyer and she's going to get that DNR. She's getting that. She's won't let me sign that DNR. Anyway, it's allegedly. They're always lawyers. All of them have daughters who are lawyers, and they're all bitches.
I loved his reckoning with technology was to literally throw it across the lawn.
I
It's a
will
really
say,
extreme way of like do
that,
not disturb on your phone is just to throw it over the park.
and
I've
the
done that.
only thing about this
Um,
this storyline is how absurd it is. So I think they kept it in here for us to go, oh, because you're exactly right. Why was Yolanda Williams
Right?
funny,
hmm
and why is this heartbreaking and sad?
There's
And
only
it is we don't think he's safe.
There is
And
only one way this can go, right? Because I keep thinking, why is this in the show? My
yeah.
my theory, and it's only a 10%er, right? But I'm holding out hope, is that this is like, do you remember Creepy David who went to Russia?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
with Lana.
right. And you remember how we were all like, oh, she's fucking real. I've got
Oh,
right. No
Lana.
one's entertaining the possibility that
No.
he's right all along. But only if he is right does this belong on 90 Day. And I have this 10% thing that they have
Oh, Robin.
a scorcher in the bank.
You sweet summer child.
But fool me once, right? They've done it before. If they
My
haven't, like, why is this on the show?
or
I
or
cannot
when we
understand
found
it.
out Caesar's Maria was real.
Was real. Yeah.
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 The fact that they kept that from us is still one of the miracles of 90 Day Fiance. My theory is that we're actually going to meet the woman in the photos and they're going to have a video chat, and that's going to be the closure he needs. And
Maybe.
then he'll just keep playing ukulele in the park, the same one his father might have been murdered in.
My hope is that it's a submit situation and he actually falls in love with the catfisher, even though he's a man.
Oh, interesting. I think
Christian.
there's a lot of the specter of homophobia lingers over this story because
Yes.
A little bit.
I think he's questioning, oh shit, am I gay? And
Mm.
because I was with is there something in me that knew all along?
Did you notice how he
And
says they all the time? He
always,
never gendered him. He
yeah, he
always
can't.
said they. Yeah,
He can't do that. Yeah.
couldn't do it.
Can we do something a little more fun and talk about Misha and Nicola?
Yes,
Uh,
Jake. Yes, Jake. We will talk about
Jake,
Misha.
Jake, we can do
will
that,
talk
Jake.
about it, Jake.
Okay,
Yes,
Jake,
we
we're
will,
talking
Jake.
about it now, Jake.
Nicola, I'm here in Israel with my boyfriend Nicola. This is right before the segment on the construction that's happening on I-15. Y'all, we found out that she wasn't a news person. She was a traffic person
Oh, bless.
in Philadelphia.
Did you think it was
Um,
good the way they had a guy lampooning like local TV journalism in the
oh yeah,
same episode
it was
as
genius.
yeah, yeah,
No, Sharp has these little Easter eggs everywhere.
yeah.
He's so y'all they're waking up in their messy hotel room with their Lucy and Ricky beds.
That's
And
exactly what I wrote down, that they're Lucy and Ricky.
Ricky, I want to be in the club act. Misha, no, you're going to marry me and not going to tell my mom.
I love that she woke up um, with a full face of makeup, fresh as a daisy.
With a sleep mask on.
Yes.
It was very Vanessa Williams from Ugly Betty. Like how
Yes.
she would wake up in this kind of,
Yes.
well, what else are we going to do today, Mark?
Yeah. I mean, I think
And I like the way he woke up already smelling of fish, which was good. He'd applied his fish scent for the day. It's good.
I feel like he is so fucking creepy. I am certain he always smells like his breath is always
Oh.
garlicky or just rank.
it has to be garlic. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have a feeling he is, I will say, he is one of the most repellent men we've had. Even though I've been given very little information about him, I'm so repulsed by him.
Yeah, because he's actually acceptable adjacent. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
in another light, from another angle, in another age, like he's kind of okay. But if it was just skewed,
Michelle's giving you such a side eye.
I don't know. Like if you took his face away and his hair away, his body away, his personality away, and his voice away, then
You'd have the Invisible Man, so sounds great. I I do want to say there is something about him if he had a new personality, maybe he wouldn't be as bad. But that personality, like y'all, he's even saying, "Misha, wake up early, wake up." She's like, "Why are you up so early?" And y'all, she's jet lagged, and so
Oh, she's
he's
hungover. Did you
oh,
see how much
probably too.
wine?
Yeah, they drank a lot.
Yeah.
But y'all, as she said, nothing happened last night, so God was very proud of us. God's not proud of any of us, y'all. Like
Jake,
he turns his face away in shame.
I have been looking forward to having this conversation with you.
God is proud of us and how God should yeah.
Where does God draw the line when it comes to sin? They were
Heavy
like, we did
petting and
stuff,
sin.
yeah, we did stuff, but nothing that God would consider us a sin.
I don't think they left room for the Holy Spirit in that single bed.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah.
I think God is okay with everything up until fingering.
Oh, I thought it
Like
included fingering though.
no, I think God
But I think heavy petting means fingering to me.
does
Otherwise,
it?
yeah, it's medium petting otherwise.
I think my because I'm a gay man, it's a little weird because all like first base is all the way for us. So
Right.
I it's kind of hard
Why not?
to it's kind of
Yeah,
hard to yeah.
it's hard to make that comparison. I mean,
So nothing's going in, things are just on.
I'm gonna depart from that subject, and I mean that in the leftovers sense. Like I'm just gonna exit. I'm gonna magically disappear from that part of the conversation because I don't want to. I think it's important to talk about intimacy, but I just don't want to, right in this moment, think about him finger banging her and saying, "Do you like that, Misha? Misha, do you like it? Misha, Misha, have you come? Misha, are you coming now?"
I'm parting the Red Sea. I don't
Oh.
even know what that means. I don't even know what that means.
Well, the
It
thing is, we've had a lot of people the idea that we were very confused when he was from Israel and he was a Catholic.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought of was a radical conversion happened. Someone brought up to that he's definitely ethnically not Israeli. He's ethnically probably Palestinian or
Mhm.
Jordanian, and they do have more Arab. There are more Arab Catholics and more Arab Christians, but uh, they are the most extreme that are there. But can you imagine how normal Israelis probably think of him? Like, look at this crackpot.
I was gonna say that before I knew that he wasn't Israeli, and trying to offer the benefit of the doubt. Um, and you know what? It's not even an Israeli thing.
I
People,
mean, he is Israeli.
He's
yes, I'm
Israeli,
sorry.
but like
He's not.
It,
He's not.
Israelis are hot. Israeli
yes,
men are
it's
gorgeous.
the brutal irony of going to the place that has the
Yeah.
most
No.
beautiful men in the world,
for
and
that.
for that is has got to be the biggest slap in the face ever. But what I was going to say is it's it's definitely a cultural mismatch in Israel to not be very direct and blunt and
Yeah.
brusque in communication. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt
Hmm.
early on
Yeah.
when he was sort of deflecting and things like that, because that is very that forcefulness, if you like, the total opposite of what you have here in England, which is like
Hmm.
politeness to
I
the point of it being
couldn't
passive
possibly have an
aggressive.
opinion. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like
Am
I
I finger
totally
banging
get
you enough
that.
to make you come? Is that going to make you come? Is this okay?
They wouldn't even
Is it
start they don't even start doing it, Jake. They wait for an invitation, and even then they ask you if you're sure
Yeah.
400
Oh
Yeah.
times.
And then we
God.
we apologize during.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Sorry.
Well,
I'm
but
so sorry I made you come. That must have been really awful
see,
for you.
Robin is not ethnically British.
Right.
Robin is ethnically Transylvanian, Romanian,
Oh, so
from the Dick
you just
Riviera.
you
Yeah.
So
just take you just take her
he
before
just
she knows what's going
takes
on.
what he wants. That's
Yeah.
what I like
Yes.
about him.
Gonna bite that.
Um,
You
That's me.
you you still have work to do in the fields. So you have to there's still
Suck
hay
that
to be
blood.
baled.
Get on with my day.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
he's a bit of me. This one.
It's a bit of me.
He's a bit
He's
of
a bit
me.
of me. Oh
But
God.
yeah, so I gave him the benefit of the doubt that that can be a cultural misunderstanding, that deflection or that forcefulness. But when he got to, I need to show her who the man is.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Ugh.
lost me.
He lost. Well, to be brutally honest, he lost me at that hotel room because
Fucking
absolutely I would not. And look, even my neurodivergence, my autism aside, I could not stay in a room like that. It didn't feel.
those
It was very small.
the
Yeah, it was
bedspreads
too
look
small.
so old. I thought they might be like Turin Shroud, kind of like
It
were these on the face of Jesus at some point? They were so
Visha,
old and
Visha,
gross.
these were the bedspreads that were wrapping the body of Jesus. This is where Mother Mary went and washed her face.
She has picked an odd, speaking as someone who was raised Catholic, she's picked an odd branch of
Yeah.
Christianity
Yeah.
because
She has.
sh-
The
we're not.
conservative Catholic branch is
Yes,
bizarre. Yeah.
it's
I would
very,
have think
it's quite misleading for her to be doing the whole like, oh, and save us from the hellfire,
well,
because we don't do that in
yeah. I think
Catholicism.
the
It's co-
other
yeah.
the other thing, this idea about going to Nazareth, it almost feels like we're in like Jesus amusement park. Like
Mhm.
you're gonna like buy things like the Last Supper, and you're gonna get like souvenirs and shit.
Okay,
But thank God there were no, like, there was no one standing there going, "Get your Mary water here."
I guarantee you that was off camera. I promise you.
yeah, there has to be.
Okay.
But I have a theory about that. So I, please don't ask me why, dated a Jehovah's Witness.
They're very persistent.
And I had to come up with things for us to do so that I wouldn't think about having sex with him.
Wow.
And so when we did go out, we either always had to be around other people or there had to be these big things. And he was Irish as well. So fortunately, he could drink a lot.
That's a
But
really different. I thought a lot of American
Jehovah's
Jehovah's Witnesses
shit-faced.
don't drink,
Yeah.
he could
but
bend
you
the
can't
rules
be Irish
about.
and not drink. Come on, come
Right,
on,
exactly.
Yeah.
He could
come
bend
on.
the rules about some things and not
Not
others,
others.
which,
Oh,
became a sticking point eventually, or a
I'm
non-sticking
sure.
point if you like.
That's what they called you in college. The sticking point.
She's got more pricks in her than a dartboard. That's what they used to say.
Wow.
She,
Wow.
she's had more pricks in her than a dartboard.
That's yeah.
I'm a very accommodating
Yeah.
lady, just not more than one.
Got more is really pushing that gag, isn't it?
No, but I think this is his way of avoiding all serious conversations and
I
all
gotcha.
conversations that don't have to do with, like, he's trying to keep her at arm's length so that he doesn't
You ever had to
jump
show
on
anyone
her.
around town, Jake? You ever
I
had to do that?
have. I have.
Fucking nightmare.
It is, and when someone says what I do when friends visit Los Angeles, I'm like, can I just pop you on that bus tour and then pick you up later and we'll go eat dinner because I
Yeah.
hate all tourist things.
Yeah.
And they say, how about we just go to Hollywood Boulevard? And I'm like, absolutely not.
No.
If you want to go, fine. I'm not going with you. I hate it.
I want to see
And
the River Phoenix died.
and I'm like, here, I'm gonna pop you on a bus tour and I'll see you in 8 hours. That's the way it goes.
I
Yeah.
think that's fair, because if you don't, I'm the same. I hate tourist destinations, tourist attractions of any kind. Even with an ass pass where you get to jump the line, I jump the queue rather.
Jump the queue.
Jump the queue, yeah, which everyone hates. It's but the it's not only going to be unpleasant for me, it's going to be horrible for the person
Yeah.
I'm showing around because I'm going to be miserable the whole
Right.
time. And I can't disguise that. I've never been to the London Eye. Doesn't have any appeal for me. I've never been in. No, I have been inside the House of Commons.
I feel
Not been inside Westminster Abbey.
Ooh, that's
Um,
actually a good one. I love being inside Westminster.
but Miss.
And she liked it too.
whoever
That
he
Abby
is. Yeah.
Uh,
got no complaints.
Would this
well,
be
you were on fire when you visited last time.
Yeah,
When you
I
were
was
here
a
for
little
that
I was a little
convention.
singed. But it's fine. I opened my mouth and I was like, "In nomine Deus Patrius Filius Spiritus Sanctus." Anyway, y'all, he is showing her, like I said, he is showing her the Mary fountain or the Mary water well or whatever it is. And then we get in on, he's like, well, Nicola, if I'm going to marry you, I guess I should meet your mom or your family. He's like, you're not marrying my mom. Show me in the Bible where it says that that we need to meet your family. I'm like, well, it
Yeah,
says you shouldn't lie.
that was rough.
if the Bible is meant, correct me if I'm right or wrong, is the Bible supposed to contain absolutely everything that might ever happen?
Yes, Robin, the Bible has answers for everything.
Okay,
And we read it literally.
but does it have specific answers for absolutely everything? Like, I think that's really pushing it. Like to say, show me where it says in the Bible we're having turkey tonight. You know,
Well, the Torah does.
okay, all right.
The
fine.
Like
Torah, the Torah tells you how to live. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Torah basically is the Torah is more
Well, the
of a
Talmud. You got to expand it out beyond the Torah. You need all of
yeah,
those.
but the Talmud is about is more about quality of life and the
what am I
things
in
that we hold
yeshiva
dear.
again?
I'm the one that did the Jewish conversion course. No, but yeah,
But it feels like it's pushing it. Like you can't just say whenever you're in an argument, there's nothing specifically about this
but
particular thing.
we've seen this before,
Yeah.
right? I hate to direct you back to Nicole and person whose name I've already forgotten,
Miss Mood.
Mahmood. Miss
Mood.
Mood.
Miss
Yeah.
Mood if you're nasty.
Ms. Mood.
Y'all,
Prince.
we've already heard they've been sighted in Los Angeles. They've been very nice. And I asked, how were Miss Mood's noodle wrists? Were they flipping around? And I'm like, was she cack 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 cack? And apparently he was very kind. Nicole was slightly cold, but Miss Mood was more than willing to talk. This
I'm
was
sure he was.
in North Hollywood somewhere.
But yes, he they had that conversation of show me in the Quran where it says I have to do this or that, right? So he's
Oh,
just saying
excuse me.
he's just saying show me in the Bible where it says I have to introduce you to my mother. I'll tell you why he's not introducing her to his mother, because no one is going to believe that he is not paying for her company.
That is true. And even the mother's like, you got to be kidding me, right?
Never has a man who's looked like that been with a woman like that and not wanted to introduce her to his primary school teacher, every single person that lived next door to him, his postman. You would be parading her up and down Nazareth on a float.
Yeah,
Surely.
and he even said, I think this is a question of, I think this man is so afraid of an unkind word from his mother that he is doing everything to kind of get her hitched so he can say, "Hey mom, look, I'm married. I told you I wasn't gay." Or
Yeah.
something like that. Or I
Also,
told you I wasn't completely unacceptable like you've said all my life.
and also, hey mum, I'm married, and that cannot be undone.
That's true.
Right?
And
what's she
it
gonna do
also
about
means
it? Tell him to divorce, you know?
it also means I can get out of your house, you paradon, finally.
Can I be really perhaps politically incorrect for a moment?
Sure.
His mother's hard of hearing.
Yes.
So why doesn't he roll up with Misha and go, "Hi, mother. This is Misha. She's going to be my wife." And then when she goes,
What?
"What? What? I don't understand." Then he just says to her in Arabic, "Oh, this is someone from church that I'm giving a tour of. Could you please smile because she will recognize that as your acceptance of her. Just whisper it."
Yeah, also
I
just say it in Arabic because you can
it's
introduce her, you can say whatever the hell you want, can't
it
you?
is it is kind of the best option because mom's not going to be around forever. Uh, and just maybe she doesn't need to know.
I don't That's my position as well with all of these unaccepting family members. Just fucking forget it.
Yeah,
Like
don't look for approval.
I
No.
understand, and I've been rejected by my fair share of Jewish potential mothers-in-law, right? And my my present mother-in-law, hopefully my last mother-in-law,
Blows hot and cold.
she blows hot and cold, but mostly cold, particularly as regards what I eat,
Where you are,
where I am,
yeah,
how I speak to her
what
grandson,
you
what
buy.
I buy
Yeah,
and where at what time for what price. Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
Yeah,
she's very
yeah,
involved.
yeah.
So I sympathize with that, but at a certain point you really have to do what makes you happy and not
yeah,
what's going to create the
totally.
picture perfect family in your mind, because again you're also applying American standards or Midwestern standards or whatever
Yeah, yeah.
whatever her idea of like that picture perfect family is to a culture that's not her own, where
So
maybe people have,
I
more privacy. I don't know.
I don't tell my sister shit about my life.
You
There's this
don't need to,
no,
everybody.
there's this assumption that everyone that has siblings is in up each other's asses, right? I never talk to my sister. We have very little to do with each other. We may occasionally have to interact. Occasionally, we're not very similar. I don't, and that's fine. But she's taking that personally, right?
So this has been the misanthropy hour. Um, I just want to say one last thing. A great straight out of Nicola's pickup line book is "You look the most cute when you are mute,"
When you are mute.
and it rhymes. You look the most cute when you are mute. Hey, Misha, dun, 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 dun. You're
That was
better when you shut your face, right, Misha?
That's the song that they cut from Oklahoma, right?
That's what Ali Hackham sang to Annie Oakley later on when he had a crush on her. You look the most cute when you are mute, Annie Oakley. Or not Annie Oakley, Ado Annie.
Yeah, I knew it was wrong, but I daren't correct you because I was like, no,
You
if
can.
he said it, it
Oh God,
has to be
the
Well, no,
right.
last thing
Maddie
we
would have
need is a
screamed at me.
musical theater off.
Oh,
There's no competition.
Ah,
Jake and I are in accord on
we
most
are in a
things,
cold.
including the fact that Ben Elton should not be bringing back "We Will Rock You" for any
oh,
reason,
we are
nor should he
What?
be
so,
starring
as
in
a
it.
What?
nation,
What
we're
is
sorry.
that? What
Oh,
is that? Who is seeing this? Who?
oh.
These Nigel's wives.
Have you read the reviews? Have you
Oh,
read
I'm
I
the
sure
sent
reviews?
they're.
I sent him one, I think.
Oh, it's a joy.
Yeah,
It's
that
I'm glad for shows to be that bad so that, old journalists like me get to still have fun fucking slating
Well,
things.
you say that, but most of the left-wing press was positive about it because they don't wanna piss off Ben Elton.
Oh, no,
the
really?
Yeah.
problem with the piece
Good God, come on.
is it makes no fucking sense. Like, even as a parody, it
No,
makes no
Nope.
sense.
no.
And yes, it's got great songs, but who cares? Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox, y'all. Anyway, this is not gonna go well. It's DOA. I say she's leaving in 3 days.
Yeah.
If she makes it that far.
How's she gonna carry those suitcases by herself? That's what
I
I'm
will
worried
say,
about.
I did. We also had one Swedish sissy came for her daughter's names, which are Morea, which we said, oh, that must be a Scandinavian name. And Svea, the Swedish sissy said, first of all, Morea means nothing in Swedish, so that's not thing. She's like, but Svea means Mother Sweden, and I don't know anyone who's younger than 100 years old who has it. The daughters, remember, who are stunning,
Oh,
those daughters.
gorgeous. The Aniko and Aspen. of
Yeah.
Yeah, but
this-
they were
yeah.
cool. I said on
They
one
were
of our
cool.
pods, they reminded me again, 90 Day UK. Do you remember Emma's daughter, was it?
Amar,
Yeah,
yes.
do you remember her? Do you remember how cool her
The one
daughter
who-
was?
The one who jumped in Hussein's arms.
Yeah, but she really had her head screwed on, right?
And he
her-
went, get off me, girl.
Ew. I'll be right back. I'm just going to call my mom.
La 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 la. That's just in his head all the time.
All
Now
the
it's
time.
padam padam. Anyway, y'all, that's the end of part 1. We're gonna move on with part 2 while we talk about Gino and Jasmine, and David and Sheila, and then we're also talking about Christian and Cleo, which I'm really worried about. Michelle is going to weigh in on some great camera work that
Yes,
that the editors are giving us.
as the resident Aspie, I can lend my expertise to the editing there.
Yeah, with the camera work. And then you need to focus on people's faces. It was like all of a sudden she had supersonic hearing.
Do you remember Heroes, the NBC show
Yes,
Heroes?
that's what it was like. All right, thank you, y'all. We will be back. We'll be back tomorrow, but next time for another part 2 of this episode. Thank you, Robin and Michelle. We will see you soon. Bye, y'all.
Ciao, Bella.